I agree, and like I said, I do agree that it is very important that we improve our children's ability to read in the lower grades. And I completely understand that and agree with it. However, I'm not convinced that incentivizing districts will actually produce the results that we want to produce. We can look at whether or not dangling the carrot out there or whatever term we want to use, but I'm not convinced that will actually produce the results that we're looking for. Additionally, I believe that it will continue to add to the overemphasis of testing that we've seen across the state. And then finally, I believe that districts will continue to not only, they're going to continue to prepare kids for the test instead of really focusing on positive reading skills. So, in my opinion, I don't know how that system is really going to produce the desired result.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I think Representative Gonzalez has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I appreciate your testimony. I think that we hear across the state how parents and teachers are concerned with how in the last decade we have really prioritized and centered testing as part of our curriculum and part of our overall education infrastructure. And so I think what we're trying to do is kind of find that balance between making the investment in education and ensuring that the investment actually has some positive outcomes. But at the same time, I think a lot of us would agree that we don't want to continue the model that testing is the most important thing in education. So in your opinion, and so this is the first time I guess I've heard about how there might be a concern, I don't want to maybe even use that black cloud word, but a concern that tying our school finance system to testing or outcomes-based might actually perpetuate an over-reliance on our standardized testing. And so is that true? Is that what you're saying, A? And then B, how would you find that balance if you were us? And no pressure.
No, yeah. So, again, what gets measured gets done, and I understand that. But if you tie it to funding, I look at the pressure that is already in place because of A through F, and we're not going to get into A through F in that discussion today. But if you talk, and now school districts that are strapped for cash, if they can somehow recoup cash by being able to raise test scores, what measure will they take to raise those test scores? We've had some preliminary discussions in our district. I don't want to go into a second grade classroom where they're working on STAR prep worksheets. To me, that is not quality reading instruction. And then not only that, but let's also talk about the social emotional well-being of third graders. We've got 8-year-old kids that are now really the message that they're being given is, hey, you've got to do well on this test so somehow the district can benefit. And to me, that really, again, is not solid. Now, your second question, what's that balance? I think HD said it well. I think that we have to continue to have resources to provide good research-based instruction methods to improve reading scores. And yes, hold us accountable for that. We're not avoiding the accountability issue, but tying it to funds that school districts are going to receive for 8-year-olds performing on a test, to me, is just not solid.
I appreciate that, and I missed Mr. Chambers' testimony, and I apologize. I know you're really smart. But I don't think I had conceptualized how tying school finance to testing and or performance-based measures could create a second accountability system on top of the A through F system we already have. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am.